You ever wonder how some bars and restaurants just seem to get it right, no matter how busy they are? Some of the world's top bars and restaurants have been delivering remarkable hospitality, regardless if there's 5 people in the room or the bar is 5 deep. The restaurant's packed, people waiting outside. They just get it right over and over again. Why is that? They have more money, more time, more experience? Maybe. Some of those things could be a helpful factor. But the truth is, I've worked with about 24 of the best bars and restaurants in the world to design a better system to implement into their business. While most people, have a very crude induction process, they hire good people, often experienced people, and then they put them in and hope that they do their best. Practice the golden rule: treat people as you'd like to be treated yourself. That is a recipe for disaster in the bar and restaurant business. I'm a 50-year-old man. I do not want to be treated like a 24-year-old bartender wants to be treated. I also want to be treated very differently than my 60-year-old friends do. So it's important that we cater our hospitality to the people that are in front of us and really look to move them 1 or 2 or 3 notches up as we go. So I'm going to show you this process here. It's always been available to anybody. It was a lot more difficult to do before AI. So I'm going to be able to help you do some things that would have taken dozens and dozens of hours in the past. We're going to figure them out a lot quicker with AI, try them, test them, and go through. So let me run you through this process, and you can do the work as we go, and press pause, get your work done, rough it out, and then keep moving. Trust me when I tell you that your first draft or second draft of this will never be entirely correct. You are so much better to have ink on the page, get 20%, 40%, 60% right, and then come back and fill in the gaps. Do not let perfect be the enemy of any progress at all. I mentioned already the golden rule. We don't want to do that. But what we do want to help our team understand as we go through this process is a guest coming into our business and rating us a 7 or 8, as we know now by the Net Promoter Score, just means that they're neutral on us. 6 and below means they tell their friends not to come in. So we need to engineer a business that we're really scoring 9s and 10s to the question, how likely are you to recommend us to your friends and family on a scale of 0 to 10? Right? If you're not getting scored 9 and 10, it means they are not promoting you. 7s and 8s have no use to you. So as you can see, there's some work to be done here, but the cool thing is this isn't just the on-premise experience. This is on-premise what's happening, events that you might program for certain constituencies on your property, and then your social media and marketing. Right? This is all in one. We're going to figure them out, these groups, these customer types, and we're going to be able to take care of them in all 3 aspects of the business. So in step number 1, it's really important, and you could do this across the board for your venue or for a segment. Right? Most places, if you're open for lunch, lunchtime Monday through Wednesday is a very different crowd than Friday, Saturday night. Right? So we could say, okay, we're going to focus on the crowd that comes in Friday and Saturday. Even if it's busy now, it can be busier. You can get busier earlier and stay busier later. And you might want to define, or you might want to be working on daytime. So you pick your segment and then tell us who comes in there. In this example here, we're talking about 1 lunchtime guest type. So that's the business professional that might walk down from an office up the road and come in for that quick power lunch. You might also be focused on people 20 to 30 years old that are your happy hour crowd. Come in between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock weekdays. And then you might be a type of venue that has a lot of people come in to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, that sort of thing. So that's just an example of 3. I'm not suggesting this is your 3, but think about your 3. Who are they? What are those guest types? And if you get this right, in my experience, that 3 guest types cover about 60% of the people in the room, sometimes more. Right? They're going to cover a lot of those folks in the room. So you're going to identify those there. You've got a page to do that. You might have 3 or 4 members of the management team all kind of brainstorm, think about it, write them down separately, flip your pages over, and figure out where the alignment is. Right? Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We want to get going on this and get some ink on the page or type into a document. Then from there, you're going to circle 1 guest type. And we're going to transfer that to the next page, right? Just one of these 3, you're going to transfer to the next page. and we're going to start to extrapolate on that guest type. So we're going to write that in here, and you're going to expand a little bit. So in that guest type here, we said the busy professional. In this case here, they're in their 30s to 50s, all genders. They work within the area. Their income level is between 100,000 and 200,000. You know, if you're in New York City, that might be 400,000 to 600,000. How often they typically come? You know, once a week sometimes, or it could be once a month. Preferred dining times, you can see them there. Group size, you know, it could be 2 to 4 or 5, depending on the size. And then average spend per head. In this example, it was $55 a head. So now we're kind of getting a good feel for these guests. Okay, but now we want to go deeper with that. What specific items? You know, are they the kind of daily specials? Are they like the pastas, the healthier eating, the salads, that sort of thing? Average spend per visit. Is this group likely to leave reviews at the moment? Do they ever come back and celebrate special occasions with you? And what's their preferred seating? Okay, next page. And we're gonna run through this here, right? So how did they hear about the restaurant? You know, we start talking to our guests and figuring that out. Could be word of mouth if they all work in the area. Wait time tolerance, right? A group like this might have no tolerance for wait time. If there's not a seat, they got to go next door. Are they comfortable with digital menus, online reservations? Is this a mobile group or an analog kind of high-touch group? Are they interested in special events, promotions, that sort of thing? Do they follow the restaurant on social media? Are these the group that show up and follow? Or is that more the cocktail crowd and whatever it might be? Are they part of a royalty or rewards program? And how do they rate the overall service at the moment? Do you feel this group, have you surveyed this group lately? If you haven't, you should, because we want to build on that. We want to find out if they're currently rating you 7 or 8 and they're really coming in because you're convenient and there's always an open table at lunch. Maybe that's why they're coming in, not that they're blown away with what we're doing so far. Aspirations, pain points, lifestyles. You know, is this a healthy group of people? Values, are they interested in, are they asking about, you know, is this farm to table, is this locally sourced meat, that sort of thing. Emotional triggers, if you know what they are, great. If you're connected with some of them on social media, you might find out there. And then type of events they're most likely to attend, and then anything else. So you might ask your team, who really know, or serving them, bartending during the day, what can you tell me about this group? I'm going to put some data in there that ChatGPT is going to be able to grab onto and give us some very useful information. With that, that piece alone, okay, we're going to feed all that in to ChatGPT, and we're going to give you the template that's going to tell Chat exactly how to feed that back to you. Right, so that's useful information, harvesting for your staff and helping them understand this is how we can best take care of this group. In addition to that, and this comes from experience, this is not from ChatGPT, this is from your servers, your leaders who are working on the floor every day with them. This is where they want to pipe up with these 5 A's. Be aware that, in this case here, time is money, they got to get in, they got to get out, have their checks ready to go. What's most appealing to them is a bit of privacy. If you're having a business meeting, and you certainly don't want to be butted up against a baby crying or that sort of thing, and they want it to be easy. They don't want to be looking for you, flagging you down. They want you on your phone over there in the corner while they're getting ready to be late for a meeting. You know, some of the questions you might want to ask this particular customer type is, hey, have you guys got any time constraints today? Yeah, we got a meeting at 1:15. We got to be out of here at 1 o'clock sharp. Okay, great. We're going to work everything backwards from there. You know, when they start unloading the table, if you know you're not going to be full, you know, it might be a case where you can say, hey, you guys are on a 2-top now. Do you want to move to this 4-top? Or I can drag this extra table up. Looks like you need some more space. Pens, paper, that sort of thing. If you're catering to a business crowd, cater to a business crowd. How do you act with this group? Prompt, professional, concerned about their needs. You know, getting them in and out quickly. And in order for them to be an advocate, you know, for them to go back to the office and say, hey, you should have your next business lunch down the road at the bar, it's the little things. I mentioned the 4-top instead of a 2. You know, knowing that they're running out of time, and often if you're having a business meeting, you're losing track of time and space. And so I say, hey guys, I know you got to get out of here in 7 minutes. I'm just about to grab your bill. Do you want me to get a couple coffees before you go? Right? You might want to do that 7-8 minutes before they're about to leave, so you can have those coffees, sign the bill, and out the door they go. Right? So think about what would make them an advocate of your business if you did one of these 5 things. Right? Not all the time, just sometimes when it's possible, when it's appropriate. Right? Those are those extra and above things. So that's that page there for you to fill in. Number 4. This is, I would say that 99.5, maybe even 99.9% of restaurants do not do this. And as a customer, it drives me crazy. When I go to the place I go regularly, they turn over staff a lot because they employ a lot of college kids and high school kids and so forth. It's a waterside little restaurant, cool place. And I always get asked, have you been here before? Right, that's fine if that's at the door. But I want to be asked that at the door, then asked that again at the table, then asked that at the bar. You know what I mean? Like once I'm in the building, there should be some ownership of my experience. Also, when you do know that I have been here before, that I'm a regular here, in fact, I'm really good friends with the owner, I don't need to hear how great your burgers are. I've had the burger before, right? So you want to make sure that you're getting your level 1 guests who are very new to the business that entry-level experience. Your level 2, intermediate, what are your recommendations for people that are intermediate? And then for your level 3, your regular guests. Some of my clients have a level 4, and that's what their VIPs. They have a whole separate program for VIPs. That's super cool as well. Not everyone needs to do that or can do that. Right? If you don't have enough inside of that, and you're not driving those kind of high-end VIPs, it might not be your thing. 3 levels is way better than just treating everyone the same. Okay? So I want you to think about it this way. When it comes to level 1, of your story, and I want you to think about your story in a linear way. Hey, we got started in 2003. And by we got started, I mean my partner and I, and I bought him out in 2005. Now it's just my wife and I that own it. And this is our first restaurant. And, the initial vision for this place was X, but it kind of morphed into this because we fell in love with the concept as it started to change, and then we really got behind it. Et cetera, COVID, blah, 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 right up to present day. Things that we're doing, things that we're proud of, like what is our story, right? And then we're going to break that story into 3 and make sure we're talking the advanced to the level 3 and the beginner stuff to the level 1s. Same thing with your offer. What are we famous for? If it's my first time here, I don't need to know the specials, right? I know how specials work. You're turning over food, you're trying new things. I want to eat the things that allow you to stay in business, that you're really proud of, that you've made 10,000 times, and I know it's going to be perfect, right? That's what I want to eat if I'm brand new to your business, and so on and so forth. As you escalate, recommendations. How you make a recommendation to a level 3 person when you're talking about something new on the menu and say, oh my goodness, we got to try this at pre-shift today. It's a local farm, it's this, it's that, it's unbelievable, it's the best X I've ever had, whatever it might be. On level 1, the recommendation, again, is, hey, this is one of the dishes that made us famous. It's unbelievable. We have people that come here, that come by boat, that'll come an hour by boat to have this dish, and they do it every week. That's how good it is, right? That's the difference between people that know the business and people that don't. Building and escalating as we go through. Events, what sort of things? Have you got things right now that are cool for locals? Hey, we're going to do a crab night next Thursday. So someone told you there are tourists that are just coming through. It's not appropriate for them. Someone told you they live in the area. That's really cool. So again, we're picking events that make sense. And then again, with first-time people here, what little things would wow them? I can tell you that our first-time people in my restaurants, one of the things that we always did, more so as a value add than anything, is a little sample of something. They were deciding between these 2 things and they were torn. And as we're bringing out the dish, they were going to have, let's say, Maryland crab soup or the cream of crab, 2 totally different things, both made with crab. As we bring out the Maryland crab, we bring out the cream of crab side by side and let them try that and say, hey, for next time, see which one you like better so that you know. Or we get them a spoonful of each with these cool ceramic spoons, we put them both on the table. How often does that happen? Almost never, to me, right? We did it all the time. We had little cuts of this. We had this cheese that comes on the cheese board, and you really can't get this anywhere except in this area. So those sorts of things really wowed them. So figure out, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that would wow first-time guests. You know what would wow a first-time guest who lives in the area and the owner's on the floor? Bringing the owner over to meet them, right? My staff will give them permission to do it. If I wasn't in the meeting, they could flag me. I would know because they'd have a card on their table that would be white. They'd be given a wine card to be white. If they were in the intermediate group, it'd be silver, and if they were regulars, it'd be black. And I would come over that table. I would never walk over to a table that had a black card on it and say, "Hey, I haven't met you guys before." I'd walk over and say, "Oh my goodness, welcome back. So great to see you. How are things?" I'm already picked up where someone else is letting off. We've identified what's happening. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with our repeat guests. They've been in several times, but they're not, they're not real super fans yet. They're not one of us. So we're going to build that out for them. And then we've got our level 3. Or some of you will have next level and level 4. If you've got cool rooms at your property, items that are like high end that aren't available to everyone. At one of my bars, only one of 8, we had like a cupboard that the menu was only for our super tight VIPs. And the word got around, how do we get that special menu? Didn't matter to us. We were happy to sell the stock, but people like being part of something exclusive. People like being in the know and knowing things other people don't know. So whatever that is for you, we've got clients with karaoke rooms, and you have an empty room upstairs. It's collecting dust. It's making no money. Even if you're not going to make a ton of cash by putting somebody in there, they're certainly going to buy more drinks and everything else. But again, it's just like, hey, the manager is so cool. They walked us up, and boom, here we are in a karaoke room. Have an experience that we've never had before. Page here is a placeholder, and I'm going to come back to this because it's kind of just another piece of work that has to be done. But I've got a lot of clients right now that need help teaching their staff how to sell with dignity, right? And my take on sales is when I got into bartending, I was terrified to recommend high-end scotch and ask people if they wanted bacon on their cheeseburger because I couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? So I just felt like, ooh, what if I do that and they feel awkward? Well, then I realized a couple of things. Number one, most people coming in there asking me for a menu can afford most of what's on that menu. And number two, and most importantly, great service is access to the full offer, right? If you're not giving people access to the full offer, you are selling them short. If I come into your restaurant and I'm feeling like steak, and you have an incredibly rare cut of Omaha beef, it's twice the price of regular. Well, I only eat steak about twice a year, so that's what I'm going to buy. And if I leave there, I'd find out later that you had it, but it wasn't on the regular menu. It just wasn't offered to me, and I ordered a steak. I'd be pissed off. Well, you're not doing me a favor by not telling me what's there. I'm a big boy, and if I think it's too expensive or whatever, I'll let you know. Right? So make sure that we're selling with dignity, but we're offering the full offer so people can have options and let you know where they stand. Okay. So everything we just talked about there is what happens in the coalface, right? Between bartenders and guests, between servers and guests. My belief is, from all these years in the industry, my belief is the reason why so many servers and bartenders do so little for the guest experience is because they're not asked to do anything at all except facilitate, to vend the items on the menu, right? My staff, every front of house staff, including bussers, including hosts, including barbacks, were there to facilitate the key team that were engaged with the guest, bartenders and servers, doing 3 things. 1, operations. And the operation was to make that guest happy, put a smile on their face by offering world-class hospitality. Secondly, they were there to sell. And again, not upsell. They could be there to cross-sell. They are there to add value through the sales process by access to the full menu or better perceived value on other items, right? So you have a Californian wine that's really popular, that's put its price up, and it's pretty good. It's a 7 out of 10, and we've got it, and everybody knows it. But we have an Oregon wine that's not nearly as popular, has been rated 9 out of 10, that we've got on for the same price because they don't have the marketing clout behind it. You know, this is where you win favor with a guest. And this is where you do the right thing, right? You're able to sell a product to them that's better for the same money and occasionally less money. That's really cool. That's how you win a guest. That's how you turn someone into a regular. It's how you show them you're on their side, right? But you must sell. And then thirdly, the third thing is that every one of my front of house staff was in marketing. The best marketing opportunity you're ever going to have is when a guest is in the restaurant, they're already happy with what we're doing, but now we've got to give them a reason to return. And let's not rest on the idea that we were that damn good on the day that they are so blown away that they're automatically going to come back. If we have something to map them to in the future, and it's a responsibility of your leadership team to give them the map and say, hey, this is the constituencies you're going to map to, and these are the events. You know, let's do that. Again, taking your description from earlier of that particular guest type and asking ChatGPT, what sort of restaurant events or bar events would this crowd most likely be amenable to? And it will, and say, give me 30 of them. It'll list off 30 events. And see if you can do one of those. Get one planned for next month or 2 months from now, so you can invite people to something on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night when you're not busy. I'm blown away when I see restaurants spending thousands on marketing and doing nothing on the floor of the restaurants. Your customer's already in front of you. You just haven't put together an event to make it worthwhile. You've got suppliers all the time want to get you to taste wine, and they say, hey, I'm going to invite 50 guests in. They're going to taste some wine. We're going to have some food with it. We're going to, figure out something to do that's going to bring these people back. Sports, live sports. They're watching it today. Well, guess what? There's more sports on Sunday. We've got the football on Sunday, or we've got a MMA match next Saturday, whatever it is. Right? We've got a workshop on healthy eating, or preparing delicious meals for kids that are super healthy. Whatever it might be. Preparing work for lunch. If you pack your lunch, whatever it might be. Whatever's meaningful to that group. Okay? And then if you can't come up with an event per month, you're not being creative enough. Right? And it doesn't have to be for that particular guest type every month. It could be, of your 3, it could be rotating every 3rd month. I can tell you at my restaurants, twice a week we had events. So that's 8 a month. And it's why we were busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday took care of themselves. We did live music on Sundays. You starting to see the point here? We want to get the busiest nights busier first, and then we want to grow that. Right? You guys are in the business of throwing parties, throwing events. Throw your own. Right? Partner up with people who throw their own, that have a big database. Invite your current customers. Make them feel like part of something. I've lived in Maryland 15 years. I have never been invited to an event at a venue where I didn't know the owner. I get invited to plenty where I do, but I also go to dozens of restaurants that I don't know the owners. Never once. I don't know why. I guess I just don't do it. Doesn't make any sense to me. I drive by these places on Tuesday, empty. Wednesday, empty. Thursday, nah. Friday, Saturday, right? Anyone can do that. Finally, with that description you did up front, you did all the work up front, you can do some really cool stuff now with your social media. So if you are not a great writer or not comfortable with your writing and no one on the team, man, you can plug in, you set up on ChatGPT, the pro version's $20 a month, has all of your preferences saved. So say, hey, I'm dealing with this group now, my business lunch crowd, and I want to write a post, and you just tell it so it knows who you're talking to, and say I want it to be slightly whimsical but not trying to be too funny. I want to make these 3 main points, and I want it to come out this way, and you say write that for me, and it'll write it, and then you'll say, okay, rewrite it for LinkedIn, then write it for Twitter. It'll come down to a few characters. Instagram, Facebook's bigger again, whatever you want it to be. You could say, suggest an image that would appeal to this group of people, and give me 5 choices. You look at the 5 choices it gives you, and you pick one. Right? This is where we got to be smart now and start talking to people in their language. Right? And I highly recommend that you start to segregate your databases so that you don't have just one big clumsy database. You have, this is our lunch crowd. The people come at lunch, and then you talk to them directly. And you get your staff to say, hey, if we're not friends already on social, we're talking about some cool stuff on social. Right? We're talking about some business things. We're talking about some health issues. We're talking about this, that, whatever it might be, events that we've got coming up that we'd love you guys to know about and take part in. So platform frequency, if you're a leader of your business, getting this together, giving the mandate to a member of your team, helping them with it, coaching them with it, and then saying, hey, help me with this for a month and see how you feel. And then next month you can either continue it or not. You can get someone from outside the business. I could write 3 posts for your business in 20 minutes. Put them in your inbox. You cut and paste them in. The key is to have someone committed to doing it every single week. You want content going up about your business every single week. The history of your business, the events you've got coming up, a new supplier that you've got. If it were mine, it'd be brutally honest, and I would have, hey, the reason we cut ties with this supplier, we don't like the way that they're raising their cattle anymore. The reason we're not doing this, the reason we've switched over to here, whatever it might be. Our annual fun day, we're going to get a boat and go out. It's $75 a head. We'd love to see all you guys out. Sign up here. Right? I just keep tying events and offer value inside the content. So there's how you generate it, and we'll give you the templates for this as well. And then in the end, with each of these things, I'll work with each of you to design the scorecard. Right? If you're going to do something, so in the in-store activity, if you are currently getting 10 positive comments a week or a month, whatever your frequency is, well, what we want to do is to get 100. So we're going to implement this system and roll it again and again. We're going to see are we going the right way or the wrong way. I'm pretty sure you'll be going the right way, and then we'll put our foot on the accelerator and get that going. If you're going to design an event, 3 metrics for that. 3 possible ones, there's lots, but 3 common ones are how many people registered for the event, how many people showed up for the event, and how did they score the event. Right? Easy. Thirdly, on the marketing media or the social media side, you want to measure, how much engagement you have. Are people coming? Are they signing up for events? Are they liking your thing? When you're asking a question, are they talking back? So we want to measure everything that matters in the business. We don't want to measure everything, just measure what matters. Okay, so that's a step-by-step through this. It may sound like a lot of work to do, and there's no doubt it'll take a few hours to put things together, but I promise you'll be ahead of 99% of the industry. And then from here, the things that we can do with this information is mind-boggling. Rather than calling everyone in on their day off and all of that, I'm going to show you how to take the info for your guests and teach your staff drip by drip by drip with really cool avatar. You can make it funny and have someone with a fun accent or whatever else. You can have it serious. You could have it be you, whoever you want it to be. And we'll do an avatar and 1, 2, 3 minute videos that get dripped on the staff, and then discussion at pre-shift. Right? Or you could pull people in, you could give them all the information and then do a live training in the store, or you can do a Zoom training. Whatever way you want to disseminate the information is up to you, but I'm telling you, this is how the world's best bars and restaurants become the world's best bars and restaurants. Right? I don't think that their cocktails are necessarily better than yours. In some cases, their food's not even better than yours. But their systems are, and this is a key system. We're in the hospitality industry. This is the hospitality system that's going to take you to the next level. Good luck.